The band was still playing. Red, white, and blue confetti rained from above like patriotic snowfall. And former President Donald Trump stood at the podium, mid-sentence, his voice booming over the speakers. Veterans lined the front rows, school children waved flags, and the crowd chanted, USA, USA, as the music swelled behind him. Then, stop the music! The voice didn't come from the speakers. It came from the crowd, low, weathered, but powerful enough to cut through the noise like a bullet. Everything froze. The drums fell silent. The trumpet halted mid-note. It was like someone had pressed pause on the whole world. Cameras turned. People gasped. Secret Service agents snapped to attention, scanning the crowd, hands on earpieces, eyes narrowed. But there was no threat.
No protest banner.
No stage rusher. Just one man. Standing tall beyond the front barricade was a lone figure in a faded Marine Corps dress jacket. The sunlight caught the ribbons and medals pinned to his chest. A chest that rose and fell with steady, measured breaths. His boots were worn. His posture was perfect. His eyes locked on the former president. He didn't shout again. He didn't have to. The band stopped. The audience turned quiet. Even Trump, mid-sentence, paused, squinting at the man. And then, in front of a national audience, the retired Marine stepped forward. His name was James Hawk Daniels, age 68, a former Master Gunnery Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. 3 tours in Iraq, 2 in Afghanistan, Purple Heart, a Silver Star, and a reputation among Marines as the kind of man who didn't waste words, because when he spoke, people listened. He wasn't here for attention. He wasn't waving signs or making demands. In his hand, he carried only a folded photograph. The image, faded and creased, showed a young Marine, clean-cut, full of life, smiling with one arm slung around a fellow soldier. Daniels raised the picture and addressed Trump directly, his voice clear, calm, and steady. Mr. Trump, my son died believing in your words. Today, I need you to hear mine. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. A few murmured. A few clapped. Others watched in disbelief. Trump looked to his security team, then raised a hand to silence them. He gestured for Daniels to come forward. Let the man speak, he said. Daniels stepped up onto the stage. Not with swagger, but with solemn weight. He didn't look like he wanted to be there, but something inside him, grief, maybe guilt, maybe duty, pushed him forward. I'm not here to protest, he began. I came here to speak for those who can't. He lifted the photograph again. This is my son, Corporal Michael Daniels, killed in action in Fallujah at just 23 years old. He believed in what you said when you were elected. He believed you'd fight for veterans, that you'd fix the system, that our sacrifices would finally mean something. Daniels paused, taking a breath. His hands didn't shake. His voice didn't waver. But his eyes, steel blue and tired, told a deeper story. But after he died, there was no honor, no help, no call from Washington, no support for our family, just a folded flag, funeral expenses, and silence. The crowd stayed frozen. Even the cameras zoomed in without commentary. You said we'd take care of our own, Daniels continued. But all I've seen are broken promises, shattered families, and veterans left behind. While speeches are made and parades roll on, I've buried 6 men I served with, not in combat but in their homes, alone, forgotten, left to battle depression, addiction, and a system that treats them like expired equipment. The crowd began to shift again. Some bowed their heads. Others clutched their flags more tightly. And you think we need more music? Daniels asked quietly. We don't need another parade. We need accountability. He took the photograph from Daniels and stared at it for a long moment. The image of Corporal Michael Daniels stared back. Forever 23, frozen in time. Then Trump looked at James. You've got guts, Marine, he said. And maybe we all needed to hear that today. There was no applause, just silence, a kind of national stillness that settles in when truth is spoken plainly. Trump turned back to the microphone. I've made promises. Not all of them were kept the way they should have been. But if your son gave everything believing in something I said, then I owe him and you the respect of listening now. Daniels nodded, but didn't smile. His mission wasn't praise. It was remembrance. As Daniels turned to step down from the stage, he paused one last time. He looked at the crowd, then back at Trump. And he said, "Then say his name. Don't just hear me. Say his name." Trump turned back to the microphone and repeated, slowly and clearly, "Corporal Michael Daniels. American hero." The crowd, unsure at first, began to clap. A few people stood, then more. Soon the entire audience was on its feet. Not for the politician, not for the parade, but for the Marine and for the fallen son. The band didn't start playing again. The confetti stopped. The parade ended early. But that moment, captured by every camera, posted on every social feed, replayed on every news network, became the most watched 60 seconds of the entire event. Veterans across the country called it a turning point. Families of fallen soldiers said they felt seen. And James "Hawk" Daniels? He didn't give another speech. He simply walked off the stage, folded the photo of his son, and disappeared into the crowd, mission complete.